y'all, it's Megan again here on the Lawson Farm. So today we're going to be cooking pork ribs. There's two ways that I like to fix pork ribs. One being in the Instant Pot. If you have an Instant Pot and you've never cooked ribs in it, you really should try it, because you talk about fall off the bone. You can't even hardly get them out of the pot. They're so tender. So I like them like that, but I do also like to cook them in my oven. So that's what I'm going to be showing y'all today, is how I cook ribs in the oven. To be fall off the bone tender. So the first thing you want to do is preheat your oven to 300 degrees. You want to give yourself plenty of time, because it's going to take these at least 2.5 hours at that temperature, but that's how you get them good and tender. Alright, so another tip to getting tender ribs is all ribs have a layer on the inside of the rib. You want to pull that layer off. Sometimes it's easier than others, just depending on the rib. See, I'm trying to find it on this one, because we left a lot of fat on this set of ribs. These ribs did come from our pigs that we butchered in the fall, and I vacuum sealed them and had them in my freezer. Alright, that's not a good piece to show y'all. Let me see if I can find a better piece with that little layer on it. Y'all just hold on here. Alright, let's see if I can show y'all this. It's you'll see it. It's like a little thin, shiny layer right here. Can y'all see that little bit right there? That's what we want to get off to make our ribs as tender as possible. Okay? Like I said, some ribs it's easier to get off than others. Especially with these, since they've been frozen, it makes that layer a little harder to get off. Now when they're fresh, which I will cook them fresh during the fall, I mean, that layer just pulls off like it's nothing. So I'm going to work on doing that, and I'll get back to you. Alright, so I got that layer pulled off of my ribs, and I also trimmed up some of the fat, because we did leave quite a bit of fat on them back when we put these up. So the next thing we're going to want to do is season them. So y'all know that I'm partial to Old Bay. I love the taste of Old Bay on ribs too. Any kind of pork really, or any kind of meat, I like Old Bay. So what we're going to do, we're just going to put a good amount on here. Alright, we're going to come over here. And the one thing, I think the reason I like Old Bay so much is I don't have to season with all these different seasonings to get a real strong, good taste. Old Bay by itself with a little bit of salt and pepper usually does the job. So we're going to rub this in. Really want to work it into the meat. Then I'm going to take a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper. Now, these seasonings are optional. You season, any way you want. This is just my preference. So I'm going to do these other pieces. And like I said, you just want to make sure you work that seasoning into the meat. Ugh. And I'll clean those off good after I get done here. As my husband says, if I didn't make a mess when I was cooking, I wouldn't be cooking. Y'all just don't know. I make a horrible mess. But anyways, that is besides the point. So what we're going to put, I've got like a cake pan here. And what we're going to put in the bottom of this cake pan is chicken broth. You can do water if you want. You can do nothing. People do beer. It just depends on the taste you're looking for. And this is my chicken stock that I canned a while back. So I'm going to just put that in the bottom. It's just going to make our ribs a little more juicy. Now we're going to just lay our beef in the pan. Alright. I'm going to grab a piece of aluminum foil. we're going to put foil over it for at least the first 2 hours. So that way that holds that moisture into that meat, and you'll have good juicy ribs and they won't be so dry. And we're just going to stick this in the oven for at least 2 hours. I'll check on them again at the 2-hour mark and see if I am ready for my barbecue sauce. So it's been right about 2 hours that our ribs have been cooking, so I'm going to get them out and check them. Let's get this tin foil off of it, and watch your hands whenever you got something covered like this and it's been cooking for a while, because that steam will burn you. So always open it away from you. So what we're checking for is I want to make sure that they're tender. See if I can bring y'all a little closer so you can see. Oh yeah. So that fork just went right in there, and that meat is tender. Very tender. And you can tell that just by the fork, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna flip this over, because I want my ribs pointed down like this when I put the barbecue sauce on. This one, that's like a little end piece, so the bones are weird. Alright. Barbecue sauce that I use, I switch back and forth between Sweet Baby Ray's Vidalia and Sweet Baby Ray's Honey Barbecue. If you've never had Sweet Baby Ray's, you don't know what you're missing out on. But I like the Vidalia and the Honey Barbecue. So I'm just going to put this on. Use my little brush to spread it all over the ribs, on the sides and everything. And what we'll do, we'll increase our heat in our oven to 350, and then cook it until this barbecue sauce caramelizes. We'll cook it uncovered now. So I let my ribs cook about another 15 minutes on 350 degrees with that barbecue sauce on them. You can see that it's nice and caramelized there. So the last step is I'm just going to paint another layer of barbecue sauce on them and let them rest for about 10 minutes. Let all those juices rest so they will be good and juicy before we bite into them. So thank you so much again for watching. If you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to the channel. I'm excited come garden time. I'll be doing a lot more stuff like that and showing how I preserve foods. I preserve them through canning is the biggest thing that I do. I also do some dehydrating, which is another great way to store your food. So I hope everybody has a good rest of your day, and I'll talk to y'all next time.